Hi, welcome to Galloway Lights Live. It was in the 40s today, I believe.
I want to see if they're up into the sugar water at night when it's colder, or are they so small they can't get up there? And they're drowning. There's actually some that are moving around. Like, for example, here's one. Let's see if we can save it. This poor little guy, or gal, I guess you'd say, because the guys are all dead. They're drones. Let's see if we can get her. She's probably going to die because she was so drowned in that sugar water. Let's see if she'll sit on there. That's the problem with this. Now, I will say that in this little cup here, I have a little notch. I don't know if you can see this little notch here, but that's because down in the bottom here, there's a little dimple, and it pushes this cup up off the bottom of the box, and the bees will get under here when there's not much sugar left, and then they'll drown. And that's what happened to this feeder got empty, and the bees got out and they started drowning in this sugar water. So I do not like these feeders when they get empty, because then you have all these bees that are dead. And when you're trying to grow bees, the last thing you want is a bunch of these dead bees. I don't know if you see them all. It's terrible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop out some of these dead bees and see if we can add some sugar water in here so that they don't keep drowning. Now what I did is I took the lid off of this, hoping that the bees would be able to walk around in here and be fine. But as you can see, let me see if I get some more light in here. I've got some orange. Does that help you see any better? So I'm hoping that they would be able to walk around here and not get drowned. But with the cover off, as you saw right there, there are still bees getting stuck in this sugar water. Now this water is not that thick and sticky. It's very light. It's less than 1 to 1. It's probably 4 parts water to 1 part sugar. So it's a hint of water. I mean, a hint of sugar. But still, when a bee gets wet, they don't stand up very well, and they fall over and they drown. So what I think I'm going to try and do is put some more water in here with the sugar, and hopefully if I have it full enough, I'll stop losing all my bees, because this is about all the bees I have. There's not many bees in this colony. Can't look, see, there's one right there. I'll put my finger on it. See if we can try and save it from drowning. You can't even walk up the plastic. See that? Can't even walk up the plastic. It's so slippery for her. Here, we saved the bee. This little cup here. Stick it on the top here. Now I don't see if you can see this, but on this little box here, there's a little spot right here. I don't know if you can see that or not. That little spot, I put this little part that I cut out over toward there to try and keep them from coming out. So I'm going to go get some sugar water before they all come out and get drowned. Alright, let's see if we can add this. There's already about 6 of them already in there, but they're going to float. Bring that all the way up to the top there. That should give me several days before they start drowning again. We'll see. Now we've got a bunch of them in here. I don't know if you can see it. They're floating around in the water. Ready to drown. You can try and pick these up by letting them crawl on you, but with this many, I'm going to use a leaf here, because the more chances of getting stung. I don't want that. So now we're going to save all these. Most of these are dead already, but can't really tell if they're dead or not because they're just slightly moving, like this one here. Now you can see it. It's slightly moving. It might have a chance. Don't know. So we'll try and save as many as we can. There we go. Now we're going to put this lid on here. That way the bees can't get into that water and drown, theoretically. And that should save them. On this side, right here, that's fondant, and they're in there. They're eating it. They didn't fly out past the lights. So let's put the cover back on. Let them go back to bed. Now this has got 2-inch insulation on this colony. There. So this one had incandescent lights on it during the winter months. As you can see there. Now the incandescent lights did make it hotter, so I had to worry about winter months when it got to be 40s outside and 50s. It got so hot that these wires were almost melted. So this is the colony at night. Now this has a screen here. So the screen keeps the bees from coming out and stinging you. It also has an eye wave. I don't know if anybody's seen an eye wave before, but this is an electrical box. It creates negative ions, and it has a strip on the side here, right on this side over here. This strip has negative and positive brushes on it. It's designed for being inside of a mini split air conditioner. So these little brushes, every other brush is a different polarity. And these brushes send the negative ions to the air. And at night, if you plug this in, you can actually see little sparks with the electricity going through your finger. But it's so small, it's very hard to film it on camera. You have to be right up on it. And you have to play with the settings on your camera to get, or even be able to view it. But you can feel it. So let's see if we can move these lights over just a hair. On this side right here, there's frames missing. I figured this winter, rather than putting separator boards and stuff to try and keep them away, or filling it with pillows, I just took the frames out. And then on this side is where the colony is, and we have fondant in here. You can see the little circle around it. They're still eating it. We've got fondant on this side. They're eating it. So let's take a look. I'm going to leave these lights on after I take off this outer insulation. It's 2-inch insulation that I'm going to take off here. This keeps the colony supposedly warmer, but in my opinion, it doesn't do anything if they're so small, because they don't have much heat to be lost in the first place. Now I'll put these lights back in here. And what that'll do is show a little bit light down through the frames, so maybe you can see them. Alright, so now we can see through the boxes. And we can see in between the frames. You can see a little bit of something moving in there. Once in a while, there's a little bit of something going on. The problem with this too is that the glass is sometimes where the camera focuses, and it doesn't focus on the bees, which are way deeper in the colony there. Now you can see that there's nothing near the bottom. They are way up the top. So I'm going to say they are at the top 1/3 of the box. And this is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about the 5th frame over. So they're in the center 3 frames. It's one of the frames. This one you can barely see in between because there we go. There's too many bees in the way up toward the top. So it's all dark at the top there. And this is the one right before the outside. And you can see there's not many there. So they're in these, on this one, this one, this one, this one. These three frames they're at right here. Not here, Well, not here, not here. And you can see the outside. There's nobody. Whoop, oh, there's somebody. Somebody walking around. Somebody's outside the box. There's another one. All right, there's a couple. Oh, here comes another one. It may be because of the light. Up here's another one. And the light might be bringing them to the outside boxes. Now, on this side, you can see there's no frames, and this is where all the dead bees have been hanging out, and they haven't cleaned them out. And you can see on here, there's some dead brood. This is from a dead out that I had. I brought them inside and I tried to make them live, but they didn't. And you can actually see up here in the top, there are some dead bees that have not been cleaned out yet, if this camera will focus. Right there. You can see some of the dead bees. They were in a tight cluster and they were in a torpor and they just kind of like hung out and died. So they have not been cleaned out, nor has all this other stuff. And this is on screen bottom, so all the junk falls down through. And there is a little thing that you can pull out. You can see all their junk. You can actually see some of the sugar has fallen through. It's like fondant. And you can see where they're feasting. I'm not sure if that's a dead wax moth, but you can see all kinds of junk in there. This is all winter. This has been all building up. So that's what your colony looks like in the winter, right before St. Patrick's Day. So now this colony does not have the insulation on it. This is just a wood box. It does have a bubble wrap insulation on the outside. And I will tell you, from being in the air conditioning and heating air industry, that if you don't have the insulation sealed at the tops and the bottoms, the air just goes up in through here and out the top, and you can just forget the insulation is even there. It doesn't do a thing. It's useless. And so what this insulation is for is basically to keep the sunlight off the hive colony during the daytime and maybe make it a little darker for them. This roof kind of shelters the sun coming directly in there. Some light does get in, but that's the idea. So let's take a look. This has got Velcro on it, so we can take a look in there without a lot of effort and see if we can see through these frames. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a little bit of light at the very bottom of the frame. So this frame is almost filled 80% covered with bees. I wish this would focus on the bees and not the glass. Well, that's impressive. So this colony is bigger than the other one, and it has no insulation. So is that an indication that the insulation is holding back the bees? Or is it just because the queen is weaker? Look at that. That is almost to the very bottom. Let's see the next one over. Whoa, I can't see through that one either. Whoa. This colony's getting bigger. And there we go. This one is maybe 60%. It's held on by Velcro, so it makes it very easy to take off and put on. And strip. That's a dollar store homemade feeder made with 2 plastic cups and a plastic tray. So that would be $3 for a hive feeder. And see if they're up in the middle here. Nope. I don't see nobody up in there. They don't really care about this stuff. Let's get the sugar feeder out of here. And so maybe you can see the bees. All right, let's take this off. I'm going to slide this little cover over the the door here so they don't come flying out. Let's get this out of the way. They do not sleep at night because they are on that fondant. They are eating that. You can see it all in there. And over here we have some bread flour. And I don't see anybody in the bread flour. But I see them on the peeps. I really can't see the bottom of the honey fondant. So you really can't tell what they're doing on that. But that is what the bees are doing here at night.